Da Vinci didn't have a bigger brain, he just saw what others ignored. Like, if I say about the art of noticing, it was just a very trending topic, uh, and there is a lot of reels that is going on at some point, not like right now, but in past, it is a very trend that uh, people write it in their reel, that the art of noticing, you know, like it is very trending. But I think not much people understand this concept very well or very deeply, and I think it is a very important topic to just know about and just apply it in our life. So that's why I incorporate here about the Da Vinci, and like how he used that, in his own life. So be till the end to see and know about the things. So we all have that thought in our mind about peoples like Da Vinci, Albert Einstein, Van Gogh, discretes, like etc. Like I can't name a lot of people here, but yeah, and they all are very genius or talented person. But the thing is, they have different threads of thoughts. They all see things very differently, and here's the thing: we think that they are very talented, they have a different type of brain, they should have a different miracle magic inside them, but it is not. They just have a different threads of thought, and that's why their life is very different from everyone, like in compare to our own self. So here is a myth that we have, like about art of noticing, that is, like, be aware in the moment, silent your mind, be in the zen mode, like observe this flower, like things like that. I think a lot of people see the art of noticing as in this manner, and understand art of noticing in this manner. So but here the big difference is awareness is equal to sensing, and noticing is equal to decoding. So here is the big difference that you should understand about, that they both of them are different, and their process and their last ending point, or the last thing that we get after being in this mode is very different. The conclusion of being aware is very different from the conclusion of the noticing something, so they, like, both of this thing is very different. So if I'm seeing that noticing is equal to decoding, then what is decoding, like how we decode things? So here are some 4 points that I think we decode things, or we see things very deeply, or we notice things. So first of all, first thing is that the sensory layer, what entered my eyes, ears, or body. So you don't decode from what is there, you decode from what your brain allows you to notice. That's very well. Like, if I give you an example, two people look at the same sky. Okay, one sees a normal sunset, one sees healing, one sees loneliness. So the scene is same, the meaning is different. So can you see the difference between when you are decoding something from your sensory level? So yeah, the second thing is that the emotional layer, like how do I feel about what I noticed? So before your brain interprets anything logically, your body feels it, and it is a very important point. That feeling becomes the filter. And yeah, that is why anxious people decode thing as threat, insecure people decode thing as rejections, creative people decode thing as inspiration. And the third layer is that the pattern layer. What does this remind me of? So the brain never sees something as a fresh event, it instantly searches memory. So decoding is equal to matching new input with old pattern. So this is all about the pattern layer. So, and the fourth is the identity layer. Who am I in this situation? we decode based on our self image. Okay, if you see yourself as a victim, you decode blame. If you see yourself as creative person, you decode the ideas. Why I tell you all of this four layers and how we decode thing is because here is threads that we are combining things with each other, you know. So everyone has a different type of manner to connect things between them. So people like Albert Einstein, Da Vinci, Van Gogh, they all have the different threads of thoughts, and from this decoding things, you can also apply that thing in your own life and doing it accordingly. Like so, understanding all this layer, your noticing skill will increase, and you can use it as in your favor, gaining clarity or creating something by that observation. If Da Vinci is in this process, he will have a different perspective, you know. He will have their own perspective to the things, to all of this four layers, and he will get a different conclusion that will gonna be very different from your conclusion. So that's why you is very important, that I tell in my every video, that your identity, your self concept, you know, your essence is very important. That's why I tell you every time. So, and that's how you see that threads which no one sees till now, you know, and you combine it with other thoughts and making threads of thoughts through art of noticing. That's why art of noticing is very important, to see the gap, to see the thing that not much people have seen, you know, and you are the one that see that gap. So this is the power of art of noticing, that when you are into that process, you will gonna see something, you will gonna understand something from your own perspective, all from all these four layers. You will gonna know, you know, if you are noticing something, you also being aware about that thing. Okay, I get something from it. I noticed it very long, and I think this is the thing. This is the thing this is the conclusion I have. So how to so here is a question that you will gonna have about how to sharp your noticing ability. So here is my personal thing that I really want to share about. That is about deep breathing. So like I see it as in being aware about this scenario, that whenever I deep breathly, like when I am close to the any river, or if I going in traveling or travel somewhere, I remember that moment where where I breathe very deeply, and I noticed this thing like 2 to 3 times, that, and I asked this to ChatGPT, like why it happened. Like when you breathe deeply, you remember that moment so strongly, and I don't know about this thing, but ChatGPT tell me that deep breathing, it helps you to expand your perception, and I think that's why I'm telling you that you know, try it in your own way, like breathing deep in a moment that you really want to remember. So uh, in art of noticing, how it like connect is that deep breathing, it helps you to expand your perception, because it is connected to our parasympathetic system. Like my example that I tell you. So because hippocampus, that is the part of our brain, so becomes sharper when oxygen increases, like when we breathe deeply. So whenever you want to practice art of noticing, add deep breaths in that moment. You know, when you are in that moment of focused and you are literally noticing something, decoding something, just be aware about like just adding it, like taking the deep breath in that moment, and just allowing your own perception to expand in that concept, in your thing that you really want to create or you really want to gain clarity on. So most people think that they don't notice enough, but the truth is different. you do notice. People say like, I have the ADHD, or I can't notice thing, I can't focus, like a lot of people say this thing. But your mind literally notice thing, and your brain just delete 90% instantly. This is called inattentional amnesia, and keep what fit with your identity. So 90% of thing is just deleted by your brain, by your subconscious brain, because your identity don't match with that thing, so your mind just delete it. So can you see that thing, like how your brain is playing the internal game with you? And here is the thing, like Da Vinci always said that everything is connected. He has different threads of thought, like he is very curious, being in the observation, making connection. Because of these threads, his brain saved certain things instead of deleting them. So identity set the filter, noticing is the result. That's why I tell you in every video that please build your own identity. Like whatever thing that you really want to do in your life, assign that identity to yourself. Just talk like that identity, work like that identity, so your brains can filter that thing, the things that you really want to have by that identity, according to that identity. So can you see, like identity is your filter. Da Vinci said, and he knows that everything is connected in the nature or in our life. That's why his brain, like saved certain things, not deleting it. So that's why art of noticing play a huge role in creation or making a unique thing in your life, and increase your creativity levels. So, and obviously our noticing power is manipulated by social algorithm. So be aware about what things you want to notice, and don't manipulate by social algorithm to notice what others people wants you to. And this is the biggest challenge, I think, to notice what you literally want to. And this is not very hard thing for Da Vinci in that era, to be very aware and noticing the thing that he really want to. But in our era, it is a challenge for us to notice the thing that we literally want to, because there are many people that is grabbing our attention, wants our focus. They like the videos, the peoples are literally wants us to notice them. So it is very biggest challenge for you. But I think the art of noticing is very important in our creation, and I just like personally I use it in my thing on whenever I really want to have whenever I really want to gain a different perspective, or literally wants a different idea from a thing. I use it in my system or in my process to add art of noticing, because I think it is a very great skill to have, like art of noticing. Because I think Da Vinci create a lot of thing by just only from this skill of art of noticing very deeply. And if you are not able to go into that level, but just doing it 50% or 40%, it can literally help you a lot in this social era. So you can see all of the thing that I literally tell you till now is that here is a loop or a cycle that you can see, like an identity, it is connecting to the attention, and it is connecting to the noticing, and noticing is connected with the memory, and memory is connecting with the identity. So here is a loop that is in the process, that your identity, having an identity, and gaining attention or noticing the thing according to that identity, and just noticing it, just incorporating it into your memory. And when you have that memory, and your DMN and your hippocampus and your brain, your subconscious mind will gonna notice that thing, and will gonna saved it in your brain, as your identity, because it is your identity. Your brain can't delete it, but it will gonna save it in your brain. So here is the loop that is in the process. So you can see like how important this thing is, the art of noticing. So no one has a genius brain, but they just have a different cycle. If I say an identity, attention, noticing, memory, and memory goes to the identity, means in all of this four process, everyone has a different thing in this four process, like different identity, different attention, different noticing thing, or different memory, and that different memory is making a different identity. So everyone has that different thing. Like if you gonna see like the master thinkers, like Einstein, Da Vinci, Van Gogh, they all have the different threads of thought. That's why they are very different. We adore them, as a 20s children, as a Gen Z, we adore them because their creation has that valuable, because their creation is that have that much value. They literally give their essence in their creation by just adding the thing that they literally have in their mind. They just create what they think about things, and that's why we adore them. That's why we adore their creation. So I think you don't know about all of this thing about art of noticing, but yeah, have that insight and just try it in your creation, just try it in your life, and tell me about it in the comments, like what thought you have about it.